Hey, how you doing? All right, let's start this off with just pointing out that my bowels are a friggin' mess right now. It's my own fault. I have no self-control. Yesterday, I'm working on a job across the street. Actually, I've been milling lumber. I started doing it last week. I didn't start the milling process last week, but I gotta kill something here. Mosquitoes are back. First day wearing shorts, so I'm probably gonna get bit. At any rate, got one of the guys that lives there is a baker, and he's like, "Oh, let me give you some pastries. I got them in the car." He gives me a whole box. There's like 18 of these pastries. These cream cheese pastries are about this big. I gave 4 of them to the people who live in the house here. They let me use his garage as a workshop. And then, I came outside. I started milling lumber, and I ate them. I ate a couple of them, and I had a couple more. And then I ate the entire box, man. I had like 14 friggin' pastries like within like an hour and a half or something. Oh my god, nuts! I'm like a friggin' dog, man. I have no self-control. It's like I was a dog with women when I was young. Same thing. I can't leave the friggin' house, and I can't be exposed to things that I like too much. I can't have it in the house. I've been doing very good lately too with not eating the sugar. Like I'm trying to lean up again because I go through these things. I start eating the sugar and then that's it. I start. It's very difficult for me to get off it. It's like crack to me, like it is to most of you. Come here, come here. That mosquito's gonna die. It's gonna die. At any rate, I had this thought today. Somebody's been texting me about a cabinet job. And he used a name where if it's the guy I think it is, it's not a guy I'm friends with. I was friendly with him. I suppose we were friends at one time. I don't think he's a terrible person. But him and another guy were the reason why I stopped hanging out with a particular group of people that I really enjoyed. And I'm still friends with a lot of those guys. It was a group of guys I used to ride motorcycles with. And it's nice that he thinks of me, you know. But he doesn't realize that in my mind he was kind of an asshole because I couldn't go out. I couldn't go out and hang out with this group of people because him and this other guy, every single time they would start bringing up things that they had a problem with me about. Right? It was politics. This is when Obama was president, and which I never brought up. I wouldn't just bring it up, but on social media I would share stuff like I do. Right? So I'd be at a party trying to have a good time, and then these two guys would confront me with their bullshit, and I'd let them talk, and then I'd use their own words to hang them with every single time. And what happened was that became like like entertainment for the people at the party. That's what I became kind of known for. I didn't realize that was what was happening because it's not something that's on my brain throughout the course of any given day. It might come up as a conversation with somebody, and that's fine. But when I'm going out to have a good time and have no self-control with women or booze or whatever else and food, that's what I want to do. I want to enjoy my life there for however many hours that lasts. So when somebody's going to confront you with their bullshit and take me out of my good time, well, then I'm going to stop going and trying to have a good time because I know I can't have a good time anymore. It's a friggin' bummer. But we'll see if something comes of this. This is one of those things. Where I come from, this is a big difference with California and New Jersey. All right? And you guys can correct me if you see this as not being the way it is. But where I come from, yeah, if I run into somebody and they say, hey, I need somebody to do this for me. And I go, hey, I know a guy. Let me give you his number. That's what I do. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll call the guy or text him these days. I'll be like, hey, so-and-so might contact you. This is what they talked to me about. They'll probably use my name. That's it. Out here, what people do is they try to be a middleman. So this guy's been sending me texts for a couple days, and I've been ignoring it. He's like, I got this cabinet job with this designer up north. It's a job down here. I'm like, dude, first of all, I'm pretty sure I know who he is, but I said, I'm not sure who you are. I'm sure he's a good guy now and everything else. He probably doesn't even realize what he was doing to me in the past and the reason why I pulled away. That's the funny thing. Not sure you are. I haven't been a cabinet maker since the 1980s. I'm not set up to build cabinets. That's all sheet goods. You need like a big space and the big table saw and big tables, yeah, a good dust collection system because there's formaldehyde and other chemicals and glues and whatnot in plywood that you don't want to ingest. And if I was doing cabinet work today, I'd be using real plywood. I wouldn't be using, um, like melamines necessarily, or like OSB boards or MDF, that sort of thing, because that's not good for you. It's an interesting product because it's dead flat and but it's not. If it gets wet, it's like a sponge and it falls apart. So I don't want to use that shit. I don't want you calling me back in a couple of years because you had a leak. Now your cabinets are falling apart. Um, at any rate, so I just hit him with all that. Like, look, I'm not really a cabinet guy. Maybe one cabinet. I build custom one-off pieces. I'll be milling lumber here. I did it all day yesterday. I'll insert a couple pictures for you. So what's interesting there is you see me working, and what that is, I'll be in here for hours today, just boom, moving. Some of these are pretty large pieces of lumber here. Well, I'm not going to go get it. You can see it. And they got weight to them, and you're moving those things around, you're forcing them through, and you're holding them up, and you're pulling them through, and you're putting them over there, and you're stacking them here, and you're moving them there. So and you're on your feet all day, and it's a workout. I'm not complaining about that. It's one of the things that keeps me fit. I'm always looking better, way more fit if I'm actually doing what I like doing, building these pieces. At any rate, I started thinking about this middleman thing because I just was texting with him, and how when you see things on the internet, interviews, podcasts. I was listening to Julian Lennon this morning on the Joe Rogan podcast, and this is from a couple months ago. I made my stew this morning, so while I'm making my stew, I'm listening to something. Bigfoot stories or something like that. Something I don't have to look at the screen for, generally, because I'm busy chopping things up with a knife, and I don't want to cut one of my fingers off again. So it was just a conversation, and I get Rogan. I watch a lot of his podcasts, not all of them. It has to be somebody I'm interested in or the subject matter. But Julian Lennon, I'm kind of interested in because I'm a Beatle maniac. I like to follow along with what's going on, and listening to it, they had met sometime in the '90s out in LA, and then that's it. And it's more like Julian is kind of promoting a new book. He's into photography now and all that. And I realized, like, this is one of those things where on one hand you always hear that Rogan talks to people that are people he just wants to have a conversation with. But from time to time, he is absolutely having people on that they just have a good publicist. And they have something that they want to publicize because they're trying to sell something. There's nothing wrong with Rogan for having people on like that. That's you. Sometimes you need filler, basically, and you're doing a service. You're helping people out. Maybe they pay him a couple bucks. I'm not accusing him of that. And if he was doing it, I also wouldn't criticize him for doing so. I'm just saying. It's a thing. Like last night, I was watching Gutfeld, and I keep reminding you should watch Gutfeld on Fox every night. 5 nights a week. You should DVR it and watch it. It's hysterical. It's awesome. They let you know what the hell's going on in a fun way. It's lighthearted. You're not going to, even though you're going to watch things there or hear things there you probably aren't going to agree with, and a lot of them are serious topics, you're going to watch it and you're going to get some laughs out of it. And you're not going to go to bed like bummed out. You're going to go to bed happy. So, but there was this fighter. I just looked at Colby Covington is his name. I never heard of him before. I don't watch a lot of fighting anymore. MMA I kind of enjoy. I have a different background. I studied martial arts and all that, and I always fight really well. And for me, fighting is a necessity. Like, you're defending your life, and or you're in a situation where I used to be in when I was young, where you had to be pretty good. You had to be able to take care of yourself. I was a bouncer. I worked as a friggin' bouncer for years, especially when I came out here. And I'm not a big guy, so I had to rely really on my bearing with people and the psychology with human beings and dealing with situations before they got physical. But when they got physical, I ended it really quick. So I'd know where to strike you to, like, incapacitate you. That's why I studied martial arts, because before that, I was too, well, I don't want to get into it, but it wasn't good. I started training Taekwondo to be less lethal. When I was a kid, my move, and this is a little scary for some people, so if I'm freaking you out, I apologize, but it's just the truth. But when I was young, and I don't know where this comes from, when somebody got in my face, I would just step on their foot, grab them by the throat at the same time, and lean into them, push into them. There's no defense for that. You're going backwards, and you can't stop yourself because I'm standing on your foot, and I'm falling down on top of you, and I'm beating your head into the ground. You can imagine what that led to. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So, anyhow, I bring this guy up because clearly this guy's got a publicist because, and I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he was not good on the show. He doesn't come off as like smart or witty. He was just, a little bit of red meat for Republicans is what he was. He bad mouthed, anything on the left and the topics of that. And you could even see with Gutfeld where he was leading in with him when it was his time to talk, and where he would stop him and go to the next person. Like he can get better at it, right? Joey Jones, the guy with no legs, who's the Marine bomb expert, who's now like a fixture on Fox. I love that guy. When he first started, same thing. Tyrus, if you're a fan of Tyrus, I like Tyrus, but Tyrus is funny because he has, I don't know if it's a dyslexic thing. He's a teacher. But he uses the wrong words in the wrong place all the time, and he mispronounces words all the time, and it's kind of his thing. So it's a funny, weird thing. But when he got on there, not so great. But I've been watching him get better, right? That's what's going to happen. It's like punk rock. You can't stay punk rock forever, man, because if you keep playing that instrument after a few years, you're going to get good at it. If you don't get good at it, there's something wrong with you. Like, if you listen to, like, The Clash, the early days of The Clash and how they progressed, then they got into Big Audio Dynamite and everything else, like, you're going to naturally get better at something, and that's what's happening. That's what happened with Tyrus, and it's still developing there, and it's probably going to happen with this guy, Colby Covington. I hope it does. If he's going to be on television, he's going to have to get better than that. But my point is, it's a middleman. It's somebody that's out there promoting you because you got something to sell, or you've got a personality, you've got name recognition. People are going to be able to make money off of you. But in order to do that, they got to get you out there into the public. And to do that, you just can't do it on your own. You know how I know that? Because when I was building my furniture, when I was really a snob, I was a furniture snob for a long time. It was the only work I was interested in taking. At one point, I took a few months off, and I developed this bench. I call it the rocket bench. Let me try to find a couple snapshots of it. I'll insert it right here for you. Okay, so that's the rocket bench. My initial thing with that was I was going to build it for Ricky Rocket for his wedding, for a gift. I decided not to do that. My first prototype, I actually gave it to another friend for a wedding gift. And then I took the time off, like I said, and I worked the design, refined it a little bit more, and it was well received. People really flipped out over it, but I couldn't sell it. Like, I went out and myself, and I went to all the high-end design houses in Los Angeles and furniture joints and everything else, and nothing but praise for it. There was interesting ways people phrased it sometimes. It's too surfboardy for me, or too much that, or whatever, and I thought, okay. But it was because I was the one selling it. I could sell anything, right? I could sell ice cubes to a friggin' Eskimo as a kid. I did that. I worked on the boardwalk. I know how to talk. I got to sell myself every single time I'm meeting some new person. I'm good at that. But to represent yourself and your own work, people don't buy into that. And I tried this too. There was several women I tried to get, like, I knew all these chicks back in the day. Some of them were designers. They were all attractive. And what I was trying to do was school them on the terminology. and then wanted them to take a bench around, because if you have somebody represent you, like a publicist, well, then the fact that you have that person working for you can help elevate you. It just makes you seem more professional. If you're trying to do it yourself, they don't take you seriously. It's freaking crazy that you need to jump. You got to play this game. It didn't work back then because I ended up spending a few days with some woman that I knew, and because we were spending the time together, well, the next thing you know, we were naked. We just start screwing, and then they weren't interested in helping me out. It turns out they were just interested in seeing me naked and getting it on, and that was fun. But then I went through like 4 or 6 or 8 women like that, just like trying to get somebody to find somebody to promote my stuff. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. So I get it. It's an interesting thing. I guess what I'm like, on one hand, I'm saying like with this guy in particular, I said, look, I don't need you to be a middleman in my text back to him. I gave him my thing. I said, here's what I'll do now these days, but there's no reason for you to be contacting me. That person, that designer, could be contacting me directly. And it's a thing that goes all the way back to designers in this town anyhow. Back in the 90s when I was first doing work around here. I was in the film industry and in and out of that. And I taught myself how to build furniture and all these things. I would get hooked up with these designers. It's the friggin' worst, man. Because they, for one thing, they're trying to get my price lower. Because they got to do a markup on the piece for the client. Because that's how they make their money. So they're making money just for setting something up. And then they're the middleman. So I can't get the details right with them. And I'd always tell them, let me speak directly to the client so that I can work this out. Because you being in the middle is ruining this fucking job for me, man. You're not, like there have been times where I'd make something and the client would be like, well, I don't like this. And I'd have to tweak it some more. And you might get paid for that. You should always get paid for that, those changes. But I don't have the time for that. Let me just get it right the first time. The only way for me to get it right the first time is to deal directly with the person. Boom. I could do the sketches. I could talk to them. I could feel them out. I could listen to what they're saying. Oh, hey, they just mentioned this piece that they have, and I could see the piece. I'd be at their house. Oh, I see what you're saying there. If I do this, I can make this happen. And let me explain why I'm going to do it this way so that it'll tie in with this and all the other stuff in the room. Like, I can do that, but then the designer doesn't have a job. So, on one hand, like, I hate the fact that there's middlemen people and publicists and all that stuff. But on the other hand, I understand how they serve a purpose. It's a very interesting position to be in. It's interesting. Like, recently, in the last week and a half, there's been several people in my life that I know and trust. Well, there's some new people been coming in because of the channel, who really support me and they believe in me and they want to see me get out there more and they want to see me do the comedy stuff and all these. And you get a lot of accolades from people. To me, I don't let it go and get to my head because I've been living this life long enough to know it doesn't mean anything. It's nice, but it's not, it's not putting money in my pocket. And they see all these things for me. Like, I see these things happening for you. You do it. But really, for me to get out and do these things and be known, I guess I'm going to have to deal with middle people. God darn it. I guess I got to find middle people. I guess that's just what's going to have to happen if I'm going to have to get somewhere. It's tough because you understand the quandary I'm finding here for myself. How are you going to win me over if you want to be a middleman for me? I don't know. Pastry. Maybe pastries. But just 2 of them. Just 2 at a time. Just 2. Because otherwise, it's going to be terrible. And I can't eat too many. But if you're going to win me over, pastry might be the way to do it. And that's all. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling this morning. I got to get back to work. I had to do a video for you and be all convoluted and all over the place just to do it. These are some things that are happening right now. There's going to be a little less video volume at the moment because I'm busy working. And I can't take time away from work to do what I'm doing right now every single day. And when I'm done working here physically, I'm too spent, physically. I got to lay down and relax and reset my back and stretch and do all those things so I can get up again tomorrow morning and do it all over again. And hopefully avoid the pastries as much as I love them. All right, that's all. Have a good day. I hope you guys are being good to one another. And remember, that's an important thing as human beings. Let's uplift one another, be cool, and I'll catch you in the next one.